Set program, where we set our goals, we evaluate our plan, and we take action. Today we have Mr. Stephen Lovett, certified personal trainer, nutrition, and wellness consultant. Today we're just going to discuss some very important factors of health, education, and meeting fitness goals. You want to tell us a little bit about you and your background?
Well, when I was young, I was very active as a little kid, and from growing up and being active and getting into sports in high school, track, football, basketball, year-round sports, that helped out as well. I wasn't in love with fitness until probably about the end of 2010. That was about the same time I graduated from UCF with my bachelor's degree. Mm-hmm. And I went to the doctor and got checked out, and she said, "Hey, you're obese. You're in the category of obese." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Hey, you have, high blood pressure, you have X, Y, and Z." Luckily, I didn't have diabetes at that time or anything. So it drove me to actually get better and better and better. So all I did was run. And then I developed a habit, and I started to love it. And then he said, "You know what? Let that be my focus." And I got my nutrition and wellness consultant certification, and then I went on to get my personal trainer's certification. And I valued the importance of health in general. So I applied it to myself, and then I started doing it, started making a difference in people's lives.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. So with my background, we are assisting individuals with finding great careers, staying on the job, but also we want to influence them to take better control over their health while they're on those great jobs. It is not just about money and providing for the family. You have to provide for yourself. You have to put yourself, it has to be a main priority, because if you're not fit, then how can you continue at that job and be, an asset to the company and to your family? So I think that many individuals, they don't realize that things like water intake is very important.
Yes.
I know I suffer at first when I was growing up. I didn't want to drink water, that's not a thing that you just want to do for a lot of us. We always added colored products like juice or apple juice or things like that.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what's the proper intake of water, especially jobs that require you to be outside, that require a lot of physical activity? We hear all the time that people are falling out on the field or falling out at on their jobs because of some things that could have been prevented.
Right.
So tell us about water, and then also, if you can, explain to us what juices and fruits and things of that nature that we should stay away from.
Okay, so the world as a whole itself is covered in mostly a body of water. So our bodies are the same exact way. Our bodies are mostly water. So if 70 to 80% of the earth is water, same with our bodies, what do we need the most? What do we need to fuel our body to continue going? Because you can last days without food, but you can't last days without water. So water is the most important thing for our bodies to intake. It is fuel and it is energy, and it helps us in general as a whole. So the proper intake for an individual, it just depends. Because a person who works outside in a field or outside doing lawn care versus somebody who is inside an office sitting down predominantly most of the day is different. Both of them need water, both of them do, but the intake range is a difference. One person is always sweating and they need to replenish themselves with water all the time. The other one is sitting, and though they need water throughout the day, they don't need as much water as the person who's working in the lawn service. So it just depends, but underlining the fact is that water is something that all of us need, and to continue our lives. It's important.
So what are some things that we should stay away from? Because we would think that just water is great,
Right.
but Gatorades and, things, energy drinks that, yeah, what about those?
Wow, energy drinks, Gatorade, sugary drinks in general. Just pay attention to the label. You need to most definitely pay attention to a label. The two things you need to pay attention to a label when it comes to juices or a Gatorade or a energy drink is your carbs and your sugars intakes. Also, you got to read what is inside that drink. The sugar could be low, the carbs could be low, but what else is in that drink? It could be sweeteners, natural sweeteners, or sweeteners in general. And that's something you also got to stay away from. You can drink, I believe in balance, so you can drink these things once in a while, but you do not want to, let's say, drink more of this versus water. You want to, again, pay attention to the label. Go to more of a natural juice if you're going to drink juice. Go to more of a natural liquid in general, beverage in general, that has less sugars, that has less carbs. Carbs and sugars are basically essentially the same. Carbs break down to sugar, and sugars are exactly what it is. So if you combine carbs with sugars, that's like a double intake of sugar. So stay away from those and pay attention to the label.
Got it. No, that's wonderful. Now, I know that sleep is vital to the body. We have to sleep to replenish ourselves. However, the reality is a lot of families, you've got 2 jobs, you're working a day shift and possibly a night shift, or if you're a business owner, you're working at the office all day and then you come home, you take care of your family, but then you're back on the computer. You're figuring out what's the next schedule, what's the schedule for the next day.
Right.
So at some point, we've got to get a little TV time in there. What's a good amount of sleep? Is it really 8 hours? Is it 6 hours? I've heard some people, 3 hours is all I need. Is that really true? Tell me, what's the proper amount of sleep for?
Well, my father, he can get 3 hours of sleep and be fine.
Be fine.
I don't recommend it, but he's been doing that for years. But for an individual like myself, for an individual that really needs that energy, the proper sleep, the amount of time would be 7 to 8 hours. If you can get at least 7 hours of sleep, that goes a long way. It can prepare you for the whole entire day. 8 hours of sleep, if you can get 8 hours of sleep, get 8 hours of sleep. Now I know it is very challenging, especially those who have newborns that wake you up in the middle of the night, or it could be challenging because you wake up continuously throughout the night because something's on, your mind. There's a lot of factors that are having you wake up in the middle of the night several times, whether it's going to the bathroom because you drink a lot of water the night before, or not the night before, but you drink a lot of water that night, or just because you have a lot of lights in your room, electronics in your room, and your melatonin can't kick in where, you can fall asleep for that amount of time. So it is very challenging for those who have a problem. But I can talk about that another time. And if you visit us in Partner Central Florida, that is a topic that I will be discussing.
Absolutely. Great. So personally, I suffer from a vitamin D deficiency. So I always need to have a supplement, just a general over-the-counter vitamin D supplement. What would you say would be, if we suffer from any type of deficiency, should we take vitamins? Should we eat a certain type of vegetable or food? What would you say is best to keep up? And all vitamins, I'm not sure what they do, that's your field, but vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, we know that they exist, but they all do different things, I'm sure, for your body's health. So which vitamins should we look into maybe getting a supplement for, or is it best just to intake better meals?
Yes, it comes down to obviously eating better meals.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you eat better meals to a T, you are still most definitely like lacking something. So I always recommend people to go to their doctors to figure out what they are lacking. Or if you feel like, hey, you know what? I feel a certain way. I feel tired all the time. You know what is a great doctor? WebMD or Google.
Okay.
So if you feel a certain way, Google it. And vitamin D you can get from the sun, and it's a requirement to have 10 minutes a day from the sun. You want vitamin E's, vitamin K's from food, vitamin B's. But again, if you don't get it in a plant-based form or whatever you're eating, most definitely look into some supplementations. Check the reviews on those supplementations, because reviews are important.
Reviews are important, right.
And use those supplements to get whatever deficiency that you have.
Thank you. No, that's great. It's so funny you say Google. It seems like, oh, everything is cancer.
Yo, yeah.
I've got a vitamin D deficiency. It's cancer now.
Don't believe that. Don't believe that.
Exactly. You don't have cancer.
Don't believe that.
So, no, that's excellent. Now, just getting right into the food topic.
Right.
When I'm at work, I'm always on the go. It seems like if I schedule out everything perfectly, if I start on time, if I go in a little early, it doesn't matter. My day is gone. It seems like the hours just keep rolling past. And sometimes I find out it's been 4 or 5 hours and I haven't taken a break. I haven't had a snack. I am just like a go, go, go person. And I've got to pull back from that. But that's just not me. I'm sure it's a lot of people that we find ourselves missing that lunch break and we have to stop and eat. So if we don't always have the best meals pre-packaged and the little, handy dandy baked chicken or all from the night before packed for our lunch, and there's the quickest fast food restaurant at the corner. Are there any things that we can get from a fast food restaurant if it just happens to flow that way, or should we go to a corner store and grab something different? What types of foods can we eat on the run or on the go that is healthy?
Well, you should always most definitely bring snacks.
Yes. Okay.
You should have it in your office all the time. Monday comes around, load your office with snacks.
Right.
Healthy snacks. If it does happen where you have to run somewhere, hey, again, you know what and what not to eat. And every place has something that you can actually relatively eat a snack or a healthier lunch. A lunch doesn't have to be huge. Dinner doesn't have to be huge. Breakfast doesn't have to be huge. You shouldn't eat huge portions anyway. So gotta limit yourself. You gotta be smart. Hold yourself accountable. Discipline is another thing. Make sure that you do make your meals ahead of time. Intermediate fasting. If you don't feel hungry in the morning, I don't eat in the morning. I'm not hungry around that time. I don't eat. It's great to intermediate fast. Intermediate fasting does a lot of things. Another subject that I'm going to talk about here in Partner Central Florida. So it all comes down to accountability, discipline, making those meals ahead of time. If you can't, and there is somewhere close to you, make the smartest option. Just make the smartest choice. Bring snacks. But again, don't force yourself to eat if you're not hungry.
Okay.
There's no need to.
Okay, that's good. And just the last one I want to hit on, I thank you so much for everything that you're telling us today and the viewers here at home. I'm sure this is going to be a tough one for many people.
Okay.
We've already talked about the struggles of trying to balance health, education, and fitness, and work, and family, and all of those things. Now, the proper types of fitness, all different ages, ranging from elementary, middle school, mid-range adults, and then even our seniors. What is the proper training that we can do? Let's say if we're not enrolled with a membership at a gym, or if we don't have one of the treadmills in our homes, we still should make sure that our bodies are getting the right type of exercise and fitness. And also, many positions that we assist individuals in finding, jobs are labor intensive.
Yes.
A lot of bending, a lot of picking up, up, down. What are some types of training that you would recommend to make sure that our bones and our body can endure the workload?
Okay. For all age groups, from youth to teens, young adults, to older crowd, resistance training is one of the key ones that is great for strength training. Strength training is another thing. It goes to resistance, to strength training, to body weight training. These are the three forms of exercise that are great for every age group. It strengthens your bones. It makes sure that you have your muscles intact. It's great for stretching. It's great for longevity. It's great for somebody who works all the time lifting boxes. These are exercises that don't cause strain on your entire body as a whole. It is only great for strengthening. Again, it is only great for just benefiting you as a whole. So again, all age groups, strength training, resistance training, body weight training, no matter what age group.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, in closing, again, we thank you so much. Valuable information that we have to take in, apply it to our daily lives. Let's not just hear it, but let's actually do it. You can find more on other videos, and also just visit us at partnercentralflorida.com and just click on links that we will provide on the website that will give you daily tips to success, and definitely in your personal fitness goals as well. So again, we thank you so much for coming out and visiting us. And in closing, with the SET program, we want to set our goals. Let's evaluate our plan and take action.